guys, it's Becky with the good hair, and if you're new here, you probably wonder why I call myself that. And the reason is because on Twitter, whenever Hillary supporters usually would discover my Twitter and discover that I was a Bernie bro, they didn't really appreciate it, so they usually called me Becky with the good hair as an insult. So I decided to reclaim the name for myself and call myself Becky with the good hair. So that's why I say that in every single intro to pretty much all of my videos. The more you know. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and also click the bell because you do want to be notified when I drop new videos, because even I don't know when that's gonna happen, honestly. So you wanna make sure you know and you can see my videos as soon as I upload them. So if you have seen any of my previous videos that I've made recently, you may have noticed that I've tumbled down the anti-MLM rabbit hole, and I have kind of accepted it. So I just cannot get enough anti-MLM tea. I watch any YouTuber who is making anti-MLM content, and if you are in the same boat as I am, I will leave down in the description below all my favorite anti-MLM YouTubers just so that you can check them out if you haven't discovered them already. I wanted to make a video because, like I said, since I'm so obsessed with anti-MLM content, I'm constantly looking at YouTube videos where pro-MLM people who are involved with MLMs, they do these team calls and they give advice on how to recruit people to their MLM schemes and stuff like that. And they give their MLM experiences, and usually they're really clickbaity because they say, oh, is Beachbody a scam? And then within the video they're like, no, Beachbody isn't a scam. It's not a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are illegal. So I always stumble across those and I'm like, oh, they got me. I stumbled across this video in particular, and it is a girl giving her experience with the company Vector Marketing, aka Cutco Knives. She did give kind of a clickbaity title, so I was kind of wondering, oh, she's gonna be spilling the tea on Vector Marketing and talking about how it's a total scam. But it turned out upon watching it that she is quite pro Vector Marketing. And in the video she does tell us that she no longer works for the company and that she worked there for 3 years, which is a long time to be working with Vector Marketing. I wanted to react to this video because here's my problem with this video. So I think it's one thing to give your experience working for an MLM, and even if it's positive, if you have a positive experience working for an MLM, do you boo-boo, that's great. But I think it's one thing to give your experience and give your opinion on it, and it's a completely different ballgame to leave out important details and be deceptive in order to potentially rope people in that might be considering joining this MLM. I think that that's problematic and could be dangerous for people who are impressionable or haven't done their research or haven't heard of Vector Marketing. They may stumble across this video and think, oh, she says it's not a scam, so I guess it's not a scam. And obviously, we all have to do our own research and vet these companies ourselves, but it's dangerous when you're purposely misleading people and being deceptive and leaving out really important information that people need if they're looking to interview with this company and they're wondering, is it a scam, is it not? So that is a problem that I have with this video. I am going to insert several different clips. I will cut out some personal information that she had within the video. I'll cut out all names that she referenced, so there aren't going to be any names, employers, personal details that she has in her video. I'm cutting that all out, and I'm also blurring the video so you won't be able to see this person's face or anything. I won't be naming the person at all or naming their channel, the specific title of the video. Nothing of that nature is going to be in my video, just because I don't want anyone to be leaving this person hate at all. I don't think that's appropriate. I just wanted to put that out there and give that as a disclaimer that there isn't going to be any identifiable information within my video. I'm not going to be putting anything identifiable about this person in this video because I just don't think that's appropriate. Let's get into it.
In this video, I'm going to be reflecting on my time working at Vector Marketing, and I actually worked there for over 3 years, and I wanted to put out this video because a lot of people have heard about this company or have heard of Cutco knives, and they think it's a huge scam. So I wanted to talk about my experience today working there. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to go over is what actually is Vector Marketing. What do they do? Basically, they're a marketing company and they market the products Cutco knives.
She goes on to give details about the Cutco knives and how they're so amazing. They cut through pennies and they have a lifetime guarantee, blah, 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 blah. So kind of like an infomercial about Cutco knives, basically.
And they actually work with a lot of students all over the country, which is a really cool opportunity for students to save a lot of money and get some great experience.
Okay, number one. She talks about this more within the video later on, but just pay attention to how she talked about students and how they offer a lot of opportunities to students and how cool that is. Keep that in mind because she brings that up throughout the rest of the video.
I'm not currently employed with Vector Marketing. I was 17. I received a call from a receptionist at Vector Marketing, and she called me and told me that someone that I from high school had referred me to the position. And I thought it was like the weirdest thing ever because I hadn't talked to this person for a very long time. They said the starting pay was $16. I literally knew nothing about it. This guy I went to high school was working there and he referred me, thought I would do great.
A couple things about what she just said there. So number one, she said she was 17 when she was recruited. So that's the second reference where she talked about how they offer opportunities for students. So she was incredibly young when she was recruited, and she said that she was recruited by some random person who she used to go to school with, and she herself said she thought it was very weird that some random dude that she hadn't talked to in a long time had referred her to this random job that she had never heard about and knew nothing about. And apparently she said he thought she'd be a great fit and she'd be great for the company. She was super young when she was recruited. She was recruited by an acquaintance of hers, and she even thought it was weird, but she decided to go into the interview. And she also mentioned that it was $16. Keep that in mind as well, the $16.
I went into this interview. I thought it was really cool because I was around a bunch of people who were my age. It's always fun working with your peers, right? So I go in and I sit down. There's like a bunch of other like high school graduates sitting around with me.
There she goes again, referencing how the people are very young. When you're interviewing for a job, they're normally not really supposed to be trying to recruit a specific age. I don't feel like with a job, the selling point would be working with people my age. I mean, usually when we're looking for jobs, the most important things to us are pay, benefits, the job position and the responsibilities, maybe the location. I don't really care how old the people are that I'm working with as long as they're cool. I just think it's a little weird that we're just so excited that they're my age. I don't really understand why that's a selling point. I don't really get it.
We were getting called in to the manager's office to interview. I also thought it was really cool because he was only a couple years older than me, but he was in an assistant manager position at this cool company.
Here we go again with the age thing. I just don't really understand why there was this focus on the young people and working with your peers and how awesome it is that someone who's only a couple years older, so roughly 19, 20, is, in a management position. I don't really understand why that was such a big deal. Even if I was that age and I was getting a job, I wouldn't think anything of it. It's just a dude getting a promotion. I mean, who cares? I don't know.
He told me a little bit about the position. He did tell me it was a sales position, which was like a little bit scary because I'd never done anything like that before. But I was like, you know what? I'm here. I might as well just stay for the next round of interviews. And
right after she talks about the initial interview, she inserted a slide with some text because she had forgotten to talk about something. So I'll just read you what the text says. She said, okay, so I'm dumb and I literally failed to explain what the position really is. So here's a recap. The entry-level position is to be a sales representative. What the sales reps do is set and conduct presentations with customers and demonstrate Cutco knives. The presentation is about 45 minutes to an hour and a half. It's not a door-to-door sales position. You only see people who have been referred to you and have set up an appointment with you. And she talks about the referrals and setting up appointments later on in the video as well. That's something I want to touch on.
Told me that it was going to be about 45 minutes to an hour for the next part, so I decided to stay for that part.
Yikes. Doesn't that seem weird that you're having a second interview the same day and that you're having to just wait around in an office for 45 minutes to an hour? I mean, normally you have your first interview and then they're like, oh yeah, you know, we want to move forward with the second interview. We'll get it all scheduled. Either they schedule it with you right away or they email you or call you. That just seems so sketch. Wouldn't you think, wait a minute, you already want to interview me for the second interview today? That is so bizarre. Wouldn't alarm bells be going off because you'd be like, well, wait a minute, what about all these other people that are in the waiting room as well? Wouldn't you think that they'd have to narrow it down and narrow down the pool of applicants and give it some time and review other people's resumes and things like that, get second interviews set up? Isn't that weird? When I almost interviewed for Vector Marketing, the dude called me really late at night and I thought it was super weird. I was like, this is not a normal job. Normal jobs don't call you at 7:30 at night randomly to do a get to know you phone call. They don't want to interview you that very night because that's what the dude did to me. He was like, oh, can you come into the office? And I was like, tonight? Yeah, tonight. No, I'm not coming in to an office to interview with you at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. No, that's super weird. No, heck no. To me, I would be super sketched out. I'd be like, are you a legit company? You really want to interview me for a second interview right now, like an hour after our first interview? What? That doesn't make any sense.
It was like a whole big group of us. He came and did a presentation for us. And this presentation covered everything. A lot of people think that you still have to pay to work there. You do not. This is not multi-level marketing at all. It's direct sales. So previously, like years and years ago, you had to pay to get knives, but that doesn't stand true anymore.
She said that years and years ago, people had to buy the knives, but like they so don't have to anymore. And it's not an MLM, it is direct sales. Okay, I've got a few problems with this. I love how she said long ago you had to purchase the knives and now you don't have to. Well, you don't have to because over time with all the complaints and class action lawsuits against Vector Marketing, they have to try to, make it and try to not get completely shut down by the government. So they have to do what they can to try to be barely legal as a multi-level marketing company. So they don't make you buy the knives anymore. That's because of all the complaints and class action lawsuits. If you don't get paid for recruitment, why is Vector Marketing so reliant on recruitment? They have to benefit from that somehow, right? That just seems weird to me.
So it was $16 per appointment. And so it's not $16 an hour. That's another thing that I feel like a lot of people got confused about. Is you would meet with people, do the presentation for them, and you were paid for every appointment that you did. So what that means is you weren't getting paid solely off commission. So it was a $16 base pay. If you did end up making a purchase, you could make commission. So they'll actually pay you whichever one is higher.
Yikes. So I actually have heard that vector marketing did used to be really deceptive with the flyers that they would hand out to people when they were trying to heavily recruit people to join their company. And they would write, for example, $16 per hour. And they would write that on all of their marketing materials. And then people would go in for these interviews and then they would say, oh, no, it's not per hour, it's per appointment. And then they're like, yeah, you lied to me. So maybe they've had to change their marketing tactics and be more honest to avoid, again, being shut down because they're like barely legal as a company. Maybe they've tried to be more careful, I guess, with how they're running their company because they want to keep their scam going for as long as they can. But I have heard that people did say that they were told or they saw on the marketing materials that it did say per hour, even though it was per appointment. Or the flyers would just not have anything. It would just say $16. And then you would just assume per hour because with most jobs, that's how it works. But since vector marketing is an MLM, that's not how it works. And again, she's going to reference the MLM situation a few more times. It's an MLM. I mean, when you think about the recruitment, why are they recruiting anybody to this company if they don't financially benefit from it? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, when you think about it, say you're working for Target and you're making an hourly wage, a normal wage, and it's not an MLM, it's a normal company, would you be trying to recruit your friends and your family and strangers to work at Target as well? No, you wouldn't be doing that because you only care about yourself because you want to make money. And why would you be trying to recruit a bunch of people to work with you? Because wouldn't that maybe take away your hours? Well, then why are you recruiting people to your company? I don't buy it. I really don't.
That's, I feel like, a big reason why people thought that they were like scammed or whatever by this position is because they went into it thinking that it was $16 an hour, not $16 per appointment or whatever the pay is like around them.
Yeah, they thought it was $16 an hour because they were probably told that either by the marketing materials or on the phone. They were lied to or deceived. And then they went into the interview and found out that it's not per hour. It's not an hourly wage. It's completely based off of going to these appointments that you set up yourself. We'll get into that later too.
And so for me personally, I don't think that vector marketing is a scam because they do it this way. There are a lot of other companies that do it this way too. And yes, they could definitely be more clear that what exactly the position is and everything.
I can't really think of a lot of companies that do it this way besides other MLM companies. Just saying.
So yeah, once I finished up my little paper, I went in for the last round of interviews and I was offered the position. I was so excited to start. It all sounded so fun. And so I started training the following week, and training was super cool, super fun. It was a bunch of people my age.
You don't get paid for training. I've seen videos, I've read reviews of vector marketing. You don't get paid for training. I want to quickly refer to an article that I found, and it's on the Daily Beast, and I will link the article in the description below so you guys can go and read it. It is from a couple years ago, so I don't really know what the update is with the vector marketing lawsuit, but there was an article that the Daily Beast put out, and the headline reads, "Cutco probably asked you to sell knives. Now it's getting sued." I wanted to refer to a paragraph where they talked about how the company is getting sued. Someone had written a blog post, and in the blog post they said, "Vector marketing doesn't offer a pay of $15 an hour. It offers $15 per in-home appointment." Someone named Caitlin Tomka wrote in a blog post in 2015. She also claimed salespeople must get to their appointments and set them up on their own. In this article it says, and until 2011, Vector required would-be contractors to purchase a knife set for work, which the company referred to as a refundable deposit. Each recruit had to invest money in the company before receiving a paycheck.
Once training was over, you go into like the next round of training, which is practice appointments.
I'm assuming the next round of training is also unpaid. And also, I don't know, because I haven't worked for Vector Marketing, I don't know how long your training is. Is it 1 day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks? Think about that. You're working for a day, 2 days, you could be working for weeks, not making any money. Doesn't that send off alarm bells to you? I mean, how could you be doing that and not think, maybe I should be getting paid for this? That just is so scary to me. And she's not saying that in her video. She's not saying, oh, by the way, I just want to give a disclaimer, training is not paid. That is really bad because she's talking up this company and talking about how great it is, and people watching are thinking, wow, you know, it sounds like a great company. And they don't realize maybe that you could be getting trained and you're not getting paid at all.
And so basically with practice appointments, you start with your friends and family just because you're so brand new and you don't really I don't know, I personally wouldn't have wanted to go from training to an appointment with a stranger because that would be really intimidating. So instead, they have us all practice with friends, family, people that we know and are already comfortable with.
Did you notice how she twisted it? And she said, oh, you go to your friends and family first because you want to get comfortable doing the presentations. And I would have felt really uncomfortable going to strangers' houses first. So that's why you go to your friends and family first. No, that's not why. Those people trust you. So they might feel more inclined to buy or to get involved.
You get paid whether they buy or not. That doesn't mean, however, your family members won't want to buy because it is a really good product. I know that's something else people are kind of bugged by is they feel like you have to pester your friends and family. But really it's a very, very low pressure environment. I didn't have any family or friend relationships ruined or anything. And I only did a couple appointments with friends and family before moving on to my referral people.
The referrals, we'll get into that also. She talks about referrals.
You start with friends and family so that you can get comfortable doing the presentation and so that you can get referrals, and that's where it starts building out.
So you go to your friends and family because you want to get comfortable giving presentations about Cutco knives. And then you get referrals, which means, I love how she said that you don't have to pressure them to buy anything or whatever, but in order to continue your business and continue doing these presentations, you have to get referrals. How do you get referrals? She said it. You get them from your friends and family. So what that means is even if your friends and family aren't buying anything, they're basically required or pressured by you to give up names and phone numbers of people that they think would be interested in buying these Cutco knives.
I kept getting referred to more and more people just because we would have a ton of fun at my presentations. I would make it so fun. We'd cut up food, we'd eat it together, and pretty much just hang out. And it was low pressure because I got paid whether they bought anything or not.
You can cut up food and eat and just hang out without selling Cutco knives. You don't have to do that. You can just hang out with your friends. But what you're doing is you're going to your friends and family and you're doing this presentation and you're saying, hey, give me the names, give me the phone numbers of people that I can do this again with to try to sell knives or get more names and phone numbers to keep doing these presentations, or recruiting people to do this with me. What shape would that be? No, maybe I'm wrong. Totally wrong.
Another thing too is the environment was a lot of fun because they really encouraged working with your friends.
They encouraged working with your friends. I feel like you hear that in cults too. They try to get you to recruit your friends and family to join the family, as they say in cults.
It's not multi-level marketing. It's not MLM. It's not a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are actually illegal in the United States. So if it were a pyramid scheme, it would have got shut down a long time ago because Vector started in like the 1980s. So they just encourage you to work with friends because it makes it a more fun environment. You don't get paid off of your friends' sales or anything like that. I know a lot of people say Vector is a pyramid scheme, and it's definitely not because that's illegal.
I love how a lot of pro MLM people say this exact same thing, and they say it in almost the exact same way. Yeah, so pyramid schemes are actually illegal. So this is not illegal because it would have been shut down a long time ago, actually. She keeps saying that it's not multi-level marketing, it's actually direct sales. And they're almost the same thing. The only difference is that with multi-level marketing, you're getting paid for recruitment. And she claims that with Vector marketing, you're not. But I don't know how that's possible because why are they recruiting if they're not getting paid for that? That would be senseless. Why are they hiring everybody that interviews if there isn't some sort of compensation or benefit? Like moving up in the company or something like that. I mean, I do not buy that. I don't. It doesn't make any sense. I love how they say that pyramid schemes are illegal. Yes, pyramid schemes are illegal. However, I know this was filmed a few months ago, but if you're still saying this right now, that pyramid schemes are illegal. Advocare, which is an MLM, was just found by the courts to be an illegal pyramid scheme. They were fined $150 million. I will put a link in the description below linking you to articles about that case. You say that it's not a pyramid scheme because pyramid schemes are illegal and it would have been shut down a long time ago. A lot of companies are just waiting for their day in court, and these cases can take years and years and years to prosecute. Companies like LuLaRoe and Monet and Herbalife and Advocare and Vector Marketing and so many others are sued all the time, left and right, class action lawsuits, and it can take years for these companies to be prosecuted and go through the courts and have the final rulings decided. So Vector Marketing hasn't been shut down yet. So there's still time for that, don't worry. In the video, she gives the definition of a pyramid scheme. She put a screenshot of it, so I'll read you the definition that she gave us. Pyramid scheme, noun. A form of investment illegal in the U.S. and elsewhere, in which each paying participant recruits two further participants, with returns being given to early participants using money contributed by later ones. This is how a lot of MLMs function. And the reason MLMs are barely legal or, oh my God, they haven't been shut down yet, is because they have a product involved, and usually the product is a cover for being basically an illegal pyramid scheme. And they just, like I said, haven't been prosecuted in court yet. So they haven't officially, by the courts, been decided to be an illegal pyramid scheme. But a lot of them are functioning either barely legally or illegally, and they just haven't been found to be illegal, and they haven't been fined or shut down yet. So just because they haven't been found by the government to be an illegal pyramid scheme yet doesn't mean they're not a pyramid scheme. They're just waiting for their day in court.
I had a great experience working as a sales rep, and so I worked as a sales rep from June to August. Then in August, once I started school, I actually got promoted to be an assistant manager. I just thought it was cool how quickly the advancement could happen for people who are willing to like work hard and go the extra mile.
That can be a little bit of a concern if you're promoted super quickly before you really have ample experience. That's not always a good thing if you're being promoted before you're ready.
So I was promoted. I then started conducting interviews, which was, again, a crazy thing that at the age of 17, I was able to get experience doing public speaking, doing presentations for groups of people, and just learn what it was like to be on the other side of the interviewing process. And that has most definitely helped me interviewing for future jobs.
I think it's really sad that she was roped into this MLM at such a young age. I mean, she wasn't even legally an adult yet. She was 17 when she was recruited and promoted in order to recruit more people and rope more people into the MLM. I think that that's really sad, and that's predatory of Vector Marketing to be recruiting a 17-year-old into their company, promoting a 17-year-old to interview people, to try to get more people involved. That's not her fault. She's a victim, if you think about it, because she's not even a legal adult. And she's being roped into this and being promoted to rope more people in. That's really sad. I feel really bad.
I thought it was a really cool experience that I was able to get. We were also able to travel like across the country for different conferences. We went to Chicago and Denver and like New York. Like there were a bunch of places that I was able to go, which was really cool because I wouldn't have had that opportunity any other way.
With these conferences, usually you have to pay your way. She didn't specify if she did, so I don't know how Vector Marketing works. But with a lot of MLMs like Beachbody, I know I saw last summer, there was this conference or convention or whatever in Indianapolis, and you saw all these Beachbody coaches were at this convention, and oh my God, so amazing. They had to pay to fly there or drive there, carpool there, whatever they were doing to get there. They had to pay for their hotel. They had to pay for their way back. That's a lot of money. So if she really was going to Chicago and New York and all these other places, if Vector Marketing works the way all these other companies do, then she was probably having to pay for all that. Paying for airfare, paying for hotels, paying for food, paying for all this other stuff. I mean, that's expensive.
So yeah, I worked as a sales manager, and then after that, the next year, I was promoted to be a branch manager, which meant I actually opened my very own branch office for Vector Marketing. It was crazy because at this point, I was 19 years old, literally a business owner. I had an office space.
Oh, honey, no. I'm sorry. Okay, so I know she's super young. She was only 19. Honey, you were not a business owner. I think that's so sad that all these people who are involved with these MLMs think that they're actual business owners. You weren't a business owner. You didn't start the Vector Marketing company. You didn't buy Vector Marketing to own Vector Marketing. You didn't even buy part of the company to be partially a business owner. You're not a business owner. You weren't a business owner. That's not how it works. That's not how real companies work. When I think of businesses that I go to and they're local businesses and I know the owners of the businesses and I think, wow, that's amazing. I mean, they started this and you can see the progression and the evolution of their business. That's so insulting to people like that who really did start their own business from the ground up. That's not what this is. That's not what Vector Marketing is. If you're a branch manager, you don't own a business. You're just opening an office for this company, which is worth millions of dollars, which is horrifying.
We had a receptionist that we paid.
I like that she had to specify that we had a receptionist, which we paid. Wait a minute. Did you pay her hourly or did you pay her by appointment?
We had sales reps. And it was insane because I don't know of any other company that would allow students to have, like, to put so much trust into students and give them an opportunity like that.
You don't know a lot of companies that would trust students to be opening up their own offices. There aren't a lot of regular companies that prey on students the way Vector Marketing does. I mean, if you think of some companies or some types of work that have certain demographics, that's just kind of the way it works, but they don't prey on these people the way Vector Marketing does. So that's not a plus. That's actually something really bad. and concerning.
I sound like I'm selling this company, this opportunity right now, but I am just trying to give you the facts as they happen to me in my experience. And I know I sound like I'm selling this company and this opportunity, and I don't want to be doing that. I really want to give you my experience and just the facts as unbiased as possible, but it really was a good experience for me personally, but I know that is not the same thing for everybody.
This really does sound like a 20-minute pitch in favor of joining Vector Marketing. And she says it's so not, but it totally is.
You probably are thinking like, oh my gosh, like that all sounds way too good to be true. How, like, what is this? Like, is this even real? Like,
no, I'm thinking it sounds like a scam. Actually, that's what I'm thinking.
Like, yes, it's real. First of all, it's not a scam. I worked there for over 3 years.
And I didn't talk about this earlier, but keep in mind, she said that you're paid $16 per appointment. So that means, like I said, you're not paid for the training. You're not paid for making calls, setting up the appointments, figuring all that stuff out, commuting to the appointments. You're literally only paid for the appointment. And that's it. So that could be, who knows, hours of work that you're not getting paid for. You're only getting paid to be at the house and do that presentation. And then supposedly you're getting the commission off of the sales, if you even make any sales to begin with. And also keep in mind, you're getting paid per appointment. Appointments would be hard to get, right? Because by now, so many people know of what Vector Marketing is, and they know it's a scam. So they're not going to take you up on your offer for appointments.
The main thing that makes people not as successful, it's a very flexible job, which makes it very difficult because you can plan your schedule however you want it. There's no minimum amount of appointments that you have to do every week. Another reason why people might not have been as successful is they might not have been the best at setting up their appointments, making phone calls, or just getting new referrals of people to call.
Again, this is all unpaid. And keep in mind, she keeps talking about referrals. So in order to keep setting up these appointments, you have to find referrals, which are names and phone numbers of people from the people at appointments.
If you're in this position, you are like an entrepreneur, you're running your own business.
You're not running your own business. No, you're an independent consultant for Vector Marketing. You're not running a business. You didn't start Vector Marketing. You don't own part of the company legally. You're not a business owner.
And so I know some people just didn't really like setting up their own appointments. They didn't really like talking on the phone.
People didn't like it because they weren't getting paid for any of that work. And I also heard that you have to use your own personal cell phone in order to make phone calls. And I'm sure not every office is the same. I mean, when I almost interviewed for Vector Marketing, the person who had tried to recruit me had a headset and a phone that she was using. So she wasn't using her own personal cell phone. But I've heard that in some offices you had to use your own cell phone, which is super sketch. So why would people like doing that all for no pay?
Or they just had a hard time getting referrals of new people to call, so then all of their resources pretty much dried out.
She said that sometimes people had a hard time getting referrals. Yeah, because some people don't want to just give out names and phone numbers of poor souls that wouldn't want the Cutco knives and wouldn't want these representatives at their house. It's a scam.
If I was like a business or sales person who wanted to do that in my career, I probably would stay there. I ended up just going a different direction. Is Vector Marketing a scam? In my opinion, it is not. If you are thinking about going in for an interview, I would definitely recommend just going in, talking to a manager about it, and seeing if it's the right fit for you. I am the last person that thought that I would be a salesperson. It was a great experience for me, and I highly recommend it.
If you want sales experience, you don't have to work for Vector Marketing. You don't have to work for any MLM company. You can work for a retail company, a normal retail company, where you're paid an hourly wage. You are paid for your hours worked. You don't have to recruit your friends and family to work for the company. It's a normal job. Do that. If you want sales experience, go work at Target or Walmart or I don't know, any store in the mall. You don't have to work for an MLM if you want sales experience. So I just think it's really dangerous that she is promoting this company as if it's something that it's not. It's a scam. It really is. I mean, they prey on students who are saddled with student loan debt, and they are, looking for summer jobs. I was recruited by someone who I trusted, who was a friend of mine, and I thought it was a legitimate job. She told me it was an administrative assistant job. And then when I found out what the company was, I was mad because I was like, I'm looking for a real job. And she wasted my time on something that was a scam. So I just wanted to react to that video because I think it's important to raise awareness about the dangers of MLMs and companies like Vector Marketing, because they prey on students, and other companies prey on stay-at-home moms, they prey on military wives, they prey on people with disabilities, people who are going through really difficult situations. So I think it's really important to raise awareness so that people don't get roped into these companies. You can lose relationships with your friends and family and have fallouts. There's so many stories that people have where they go through divorces or they get ostracized from their friends and family because of these MLM companies. So they're really dangerous. You can lose so much money. There are people who go bankrupt from these companies. So it's just really sad. So I think it's important to raise awareness about how predatory these companies are, how predatory they are in nature. The moral of the story is don't do MLMs, kids. I will leave links to the articles I referenced as well as some of my favorite anti-MLM YouTubers in the description below, so be sure to check those out. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!